I'm a mountain that speaks, but you can also know me as the arrival. Today I want to talk about something you're not supposed to admit. Success feels empty, not the striving, not the journey, not the process, the actual achievement. The moment you got the thing, the promotion, the degree, the relationship, the milestone you worked years toward, it feels nothing like you thought. You thought it would feel like relief, like finally, like you made it, like everything would be different now. And it is different, just not better, not in the way you needed it to be. And now you're sitting in this life you built, this success you earned, and you're more confused than when you started, because at least before you had something to blame. I'll be happy when, I'll feel complete when, I'll finally be enough when, and now when has arrived, and you're not happy, not complete, not enough. So what does that mean? It means the version of success you were chasing was never yours. Let me explain. You were sold a definition of success, not by one person, not by one moment, by 1,000 small messages, by what got praised, by what got rewarded, by what made people say, "Good job, you're doing so well, we're so proud of you." And you learned. Success looks like this: promotions, titles, money, status, achievement that can be measured, progress that can be posted. So you chased it, worked hard, sacrificed, delayed gratification, told yourself it would be worth it when you got there. And you got there, and it wasn't worth it. Not because you failed, because you succeeded at the wrong thing. Does that make sense? You climbed the mountain they told you to climb, made it to the summit, and from the top you realized, this isn't the mountain you wanted. This isn't the view you needed. This isn't the arrival you were actually seeking. But by the time you realized that, you'd invested years, thousands of hours, relationships, health, parts of yourself. And now what? Do you start over? Do you admit you wasted all that time? Do you climb back down and choose differently? That feels impossible. So instead you stay at the summit, confused, hollow, wondering why achievement doesn't feel like they said it would. Let me tell you why. Because achievement and fulfillment are different things, completely different. Achievement is external. It's reaching a goal, hitting a metric, getting recognition, proving something to someone, usually yourself. Fulfillment is internal. It's alignment. It's doing something that resonates with who you actually are, not who you're supposed to be. It's contribution that matters to you, not just achievement that impresses others. And the version of success you were sold focused entirely on achievement. No one taught you about fulfillment, because fulfillment is harder to measure, harder to post about, harder to prove. Fulfillment doesn't have a salary attached, doesn't come with a title, doesn't photograph well, but it's the only thing that actually satisfies the hunger. And you're hungry, aren't you? Still hungry, even though you've achieved so much, even though from the outside you have everything. That hunger is trying to tell you something. Let me tell you about someone I watched. Let's call them the climber. They spent 10 years climbing, perfect grades, perfect internships, perfect resume, perfect career trajectory. Every box checked, every goal met, every metric exceeded, and at 30 they made partner, the thing they'd been working towards since college, the finish line. And you know what happened the day they made partner? Nothing. They felt nothing. Not joy, not relief, not satisfaction, nothing. They went home that night, sat in their expensive apartment, looked at their expensive things and thought, is this it? Is this what I traded my 20s for? And that question broke something open, because the answer was yes, this is it. This is the thing you wanted, and it's not enough. Never was, never could be, because they were climbing the wrong mountain. They were chasing achievement when what they actually needed was meaning. They were succeeding at someone else's definition of success while ignoring their own. And that's what hunger actually is. Not ambition for more achievement, desire for different achievement. For work that matters to you, not just work that matters to the market. For contribution that aligns with your values, not just contribution that pays well. For success that feels like yours. Now I need to tell you something important. Recognizing that the success you achieved isn't fulfilling doesn't mean you wasted time. It doesn't mean you failed. It means you learned. You learned what doesn't work for you. You learned what external validation feels like and how quickly it fades. You learned that achievement without alignment is exhausting. Those are expensive lessons. Most people never learn them. They keep chasing achievement their whole lives, wondering why it never satisfies. You at least know now. You know the hunger won't be filled by more of the same. So what now? Now comes the hard part, the part nobody talks about. Redefining success on your terms, not theirs, not the culture's, not your family's, not the market's, yours. And that requires something difficult. Getting quiet enough to hear what you actually want versus what you've been told to want. Because right now, those two voices are tangled. The should voice is so loud you can barely hear the want voice underneath. Should says, keep climbing, more achievement, more credentials, more proof. Want says something quieter, something that might not make sense to anyone else, something that might look like regression or failure or giving up. But it's not giving up, it's choosing differently. So how do you hear the want voice? Let me give you something practical. Tonight, before you sleep, I want you to ask yourself one question. Not the ambitious version of you, not the impressive version, the honest version, the one who's tired of performing, the one who's hungry for something real. The question is this: if no one would ever know, if you never had to explain it to anyone, if there were no consequences to your reputation or status or bank account, what would you actually want to do? Not what should you do, what would you want to do? Let that answer come without judgment, without immediately thinking, but that's not realistic, without censoring it before it fully forms. Just let it come and write it down. You don't have to do anything with it yet. Just acknowledge it exists, that there's a version of success inside you that's completely different from the one you've been chasing. And that version matters more than the metrics, more than the titles, more than the external validation, because that version is yours. It's the success that would actually satisfy, the achievement that would actually feel like arrival, the work that would actually feel like contribution. Now I need to tell you something that might be uncomfortable. That version of success probably requires letting go of some of the current success, not all of it, but some of it. The parts that aren't aligned, the parts you're only doing because they look good or pay well or impressed people once. And letting go of visible success to chase invisible fulfillment feels dangerous, because what if you're wrong? What if you give up something real for something that turns out to be just another mirage? That's a valid fear, and I can't promise you won't make mistakes, but I can promise you this: the hunger won't stop if you stay where you are. The emptiness won't fill by climbing higher on the wrong mountain. So the real question isn't, what if I'm wrong about what I actually want? The real question is, how much longer can I succeed at something that doesn't fulfill me before I break completely? And I think you already know the answer to that. I think you're closer to breaking than you want to admit. Not breaking down, breaking open, breaking free from a version of success that was never yours. And maybe that breaking is what needs to happen. Let me tell you what happened to the climber. They didn't quit immediately. That's not how it works. They spent months in that hollow space, going through motions, performing success while feeling empty inside. And then slowly, they started making small shifts. Not dramatic, not Instagram worthy, just honest. They started saying no to projects that paid well but drained them. Started saying yes to work that paid less but mattered more. Started prioritizing differently. And people noticed. People got concerned. Why are you turning down that opportunity? Why are you stepping back? Why are you changing? You were doing so well. But here's what those people didn't understand. The climber was doing well at the wrong thing. And doing well at the wrong thing is just sophisticated self-betrayal. So they kept adjusting, kept choosing alignment over achievement, kept listening to want instead of should. And slowly the hunger started fading. Not because they achieved more, because they achieved differently, in a direction that was actually theirs. Towards success that actually felt successful from the inside, not just the outside. That's available to you too. Not the exact path, your version of success, the one that feeds the hunger instead of decorating the emptiness. But it requires courage. Courage to admit the current success isn't working. Courage to redefine success on your terms. Courage to disappoint people who are invested in your current trajectory. Courage to look unsure and lost while you figure out what actually matters to you. That's harder than climbing was, because climbing had a map. This doesn't. This requires you to trust yourself more than you trust the external markers. And that's terrifying when external markers are all you've known. So let me tell you something about success that nobody tells you. Real success, the kind that actually satisfies, looks like failure to people who are still measuring the wrong things. It looks like downshifting, like making less money, like stepping back from visibility, like choosing flexibility over status, like prioritizing meaning over metrics. And from the outside, people will worry about you. They'll think you're having a breakdown. They'll wonder why you're throwing away everything you built. But from the inside, you'll know you're not throwing it away. You're trading hollow achievement for real fulfillment. You're trading someone else's definition of success for your own. You're trading impressive for aligned, and aligned always wins. Maybe not immediately, maybe not visibly, but eventually, in the ways that actually matter. Now, I need to address something. Some of you are thinking, but I need the money. I can't just walk away from success for some abstract idea of fulfillment. I have bills, responsibilities, people depending on me. I hear you. And I'm not suggesting reckless abandonment of stability, but I am suggesting something. What if you could have both? What if success and fulfillment aren't opposites? What if you could redefine success to include both the practical and the meaningful? It's not either or, achievement or fulfillment, money or meaning. It's and, achievement and fulfillment, money and meaning, success that pays bills and feeds your soul. That's harder to build than one-dimensional success, but it's possible. It requires creativity, strategy, patience, time, but it's possible, and it's worth it, because a life that's both successful and fulfilling is the actual goal, not just one or the other. So I'm not asking you to quit your job tomorrow. I'm not asking you to blow up your life in service of some vague fulfillment fantasy. I'm asking you to start paying attention to what feeds you versus what just pays you, to what energizes you versus what just earns you, to what aligns versus what just achieves, and then start adjusting, slowly, intentionally, toward a version of success that actually feels successful from the inside. You can call me the arrival when you need to remember that reaching the summit of the wrong mountain is not success. That achievement without fulfillment is just exhaustion with credentials. That real success feels like alignment, not validation. I'll be here, holding space for you to redefine everything, to disappoint people, to look lost while you find yourself, because the version of success nobody warned you about is the one that looks perfect from outside and hollow from inside, and you're done with that version. You're ready for the version that's actually yours, messy, undefined, uncertain,